There is a place on this earth that no country wants. Two nations border it. Both have the legal power to claim it. Neither will. It is 2,060 square kilometers of sun-baked rock, larger than London. And it has been sitting there, ownerless, for over 100 years. This is Bir Tawil, the last truly unclaimed land on Earth. And in 2014, one man decided to change that. To understand why no one wants Bir Tawil, you have to go back to 1899. The British Empire controlled Egypt and, through Egypt, was pushing its authority deep into Sudan. They needed a border, a clean line separating what was Egypt from what was Sudan. So in 1899, they drew the first line, the 22nd parallel north, a perfectly straight astronomical line running from the Red Sea coast all the way to the Libyan desert. It was neat, it was simple, and it completely ignored the people who actually lived there. The Ababda and Basharan tribes had roamed these sands for generations. Their grazing routes cut straight through the new border. So just 3 years later, in 1902, the British drew a second border. This one was an administrative boundary, an irregular, jagged line designed to follow the tribal territories. The two lines didn't match. Between the two lines, they created two zones. Halaib Triangle to the east, rich, coastal, resourceful, and Bir Tawil to the west, landlocked, barren, waterless, worth almost nothing. Each country wants Halaib. Each country says a different border gives it to them. And here is the trap. If you claim the 1899 border is legitimate, you get Halaib, but Bir Tawil belongs to Sudan. If you claim the 1902 border is legitimate, you get Halaib again. But now Bir Tawil belongs to Egypt. To own Halaib, each country must abandon Bir Tawil. So both nations made the same quiet, deliberate choice. They looked away. For most of the 20th century, Bir Tawil simply existed, unnamed on official maps, administered by nobody, visited by almost no one. No roads lead into it. No power lines cross it. No government has ever taxed anyone there. The terrain itself is hostile, a highland of rough volcanic rock, temperatures surpassing 40 degrees Celsius, and almost zero rainfall. There is one well, the one for which the region is named. Bir Tawil means long well in Arabic. It is dry. In legal terms, Bir Tawil is what is known as terra nullius, land belonging to no one. It is one of the only places on Earth in the modern age where that Latin phrase still applies. Antarctica is collectively governed by international treaty. The deep ocean floor is regulated by the UN. But Bir Tawil, a solid piece of dry land on a populated continent, answers to nobody. Now enter Jeremiah Heaton, a farmer and father from Abingdon, Virginia. In early 2014, his young daughter Emily asked him a question that fathers often brush past. She wanted to be a real princess, not a princess in a game. She wanted a father who was actually a king. Heaton, rather than explaining why that was impossible, went online and started researching. And he found Bir Tawil. He read everything. He contacted geographers. He consulted international law. And as far as he could determine, it was real. Nobody owned it. Nobody was stopping him. He booked a flight to Egypt. He arranged local guides to take him south, deep into the desert, toward the unclaimed territory. The journey was punishing. Hundreds of kilometers of unpaved desert tracks, brutal sun, no infrastructure. But on June 16, 2014, Jeremiah Heaton crossed into Bir Tawil. He climbed a rocky hill at the center of the territory, and he planted a flag. The flag was blue with a ring of yellow stars, a design his daughter had drawn herself. Standing on that hilltop, Jeremiah Heaton declared the Kingdom of North Sudan. The story went global within days. Headlines from New York to Nairobi, interviews on American television, a Reddit thread that got millions of views. The world found it charming, a dad claiming a desert kingdom so his daughter could be a princess. But then the harder questions began. Under international law, claiming land by planting a flag hasn't been legally recognized since the age of colonial conquest. The Montevideo Convention of 1933, the closest thing international law has to a rulebook for statehood, requires a permanent population, a defined territory, a functioning government, and the capacity to enter relations with other states. The Kingdom of North Sudan has none of these things. No country on earth has recognized it. But here is what makes the Bir Tawil story genuinely unsettling for geographers and lawyers. Heaton wasn't entirely wrong. Terra nullius, in ancient legal tradition, can theoretically be claimed by occupation. The problem is that modern international law, the system built after the Second World War, explicitly rejects colonial-style land acquisition. So Bir Tawil sits in a legal paradox. It can theoretically be claimed, but the system that would have to recognize that claim refuses to do so. Heaton has continued to develop his claim. He has sold plots of land in Bir Tawil online. He has created a government website, issued royal decrees, and spoken of plans to develop agriculture there. He is not the only one who has tried. After his story spread, others traveled to Bir Tawil to plant their own flags. As of today, multiple individuals from multiple countries have declared themselves rulers of the same empty desert. The land itself is indifferent. It bakes in the sun the same way it has for 10,000 years. Egypt and Sudan have both been officially quiet on the matter, neither confirming, neither denying, neither caring. Both nations have far more pressing things to attend to, and both are still quietly, intractably fighting over Hala'ib. And so the paradox holds: a claimed kingdom that is not a kingdom, on unclaimed land that cannot be claimed. The Kingdom of North Sudan exists exactly as much as people believe it does. There is something Bir Tawil reveals that no map can show. Every border on Earth is a human decision, a line drawn in a meeting room, enforced by armies and passed down as fact. Bir Tawil is the place where two human decisions contradicted each other so perfectly that the system broke and left a hole. And into that hole, a father from Virginia stepped with a hand-drawn flag and a promise to his daughter. You might say it is absurd. You might say it is beautiful. Perhaps it is both. Bir Tawil is still there right now, unclaimed, unvisited, unchanged. The same rocks, the same dry air, the same impossible legal silence stretching across 2,060 square kilometers of forgotten desert, waiting, as it always has, for someone to decide what it means.